when you do good work and you can make it be seen by Google, so you can become Googleable, that's the main thing. If you do good work, then working with Danny's great. If you suck and you have to constantly do redos and you get bad reviews, don't talk to Danny. No, Danny is going to be able to fix that.
Thank you for making the time for us. Dennis, the space is yours. I know whatever you have in your heart to share with us, it's going to be incredible. Welcome
well,
aboard.
Let me share my screen. Whoever's got control, maybe Maddie here. Give me the share screen thing here. And I don't want to do a PowerPoint. I'm one of those where I feel like you just have to show people, right? I'm a search engine engineer.
Got it. Right now.
Language to English. Okay, here we go. All right. So Danny, did you know that when we search for you, obviously you have, Concrete Marketing Crew, Contractor Click.
Yes.
That you are an active practitioner of what you preach among other agencies that maybe don't. So those of you guys that are clients of Danny, you dodged a bullet that you might not realize. Because 95, and he's not paying me to say this, 95% plus of these other guys have no idea what they're talking about. Guess who ranks #1 for SEO for concrete coatings? You guys do. Who ranks #1 for epoxy flooring SEO? Who ranks #1 for Google Ads for concrete coatings? Who ranks #1 for concrete contractor marketing agency? Who ranks #1 for concrete marketing? See this here? Now, why is that, Danny? Is it because you're doing SEO? Is it because you're really good at SEO, Danny? Can you guys see this?
It's value content. It's a little bit of everything. I think it's relevance.
It's mainly because of your crew values.
Yeah.
Because listen to this. I'm an engineer, okay? I built the analytics at Yahoo almost a quarter century ago. It's because Danny and his team, because the crew values ensures the other people believe the same thing. I know it sounds soft, and I'm going to prove to you mathematically why that's the case. Danny does the things that he says he does, okay? Think of Google as a lie detector test. They're looking at all these signals. Your breathing, your speech, your sweating, how fast you blink, all these different signals, right? And most people are trying to trick Judge Google or Inspector Google or whatever you want to call it by saying, well, if I blink at this right rate, or if I use the keyword a certain way, or if I post on social this many times, if I use these hashtags, if I use this particular tool, if I do this way to buy links that try to hide things and triangular link and cloak and PBN and all these these tricks, then maybe I can, I'm a liar. I'm assuming I'm a liar, but I'm going to try to sound like I'm honest, right? What if you actually do the things that Google wants to do? And you may have seen the news in the last week and a half, the whole data leak on the API and the 14,000 variables, and all these SEO people have really, gotten their panties all in a hoot. And you may have seen last month the core updates, what came from the helpful content update and some of the things related to EEAT, where you guys saw millions of websites got thrown out of the index last month, right? Google says they removed 45% of what they call scaled content, or content that was designed strictly just to cheat the search engines. And I'm going to show you what Google standards are. They have this 170-page document that they publish every year, and it's called the Search Quality Raters Guidelines. And you can see I've been to this link very often to prove to people, even people that claim they do SEO. Okay, just bear with me for a second. Look, now to better assess the results, EAT, which used to be expertise, authority, trust, is gaining an E for experience. Does the content also demonstrate it was produced with some degree of experience, such as with actual use of a product? Having actually visited a place or communicating with what a person actually experienced. There's some situations where what you value most is content produced by someone who has first-hand life experience on the topic at hand, right? So you, as concrete coating companies or plumbers or electricians or whatnot, if you actually do the thing that you do, you're a plumber in Northwest Arkansas, I don't know, whatever it is, do you do the thing that you say that you do in the city that you say you do it? It's that simple. And Judge Google is looking at these signals to determine if that's actually the case. Now, all of these items are tied into the Search Quality Rater Guidelines 170-page document. They update it all the time. Some people say it's boring. Read it once. I think it's actually very interesting, but I'm biased. But read it once. Maybe, you ran out of melatonin. Read it one time just to see what these rules are. And you'll see, if the hotel Wi-Fi will work properly, that they explain what EEAT is. For all the people that want to cheat Google, the EEAT, experience, expertise, authority, trust. So show your crews out there doing a one-day floor and epoxy, and what's the difference between that and polyaspartic, and using the grinder and visiting a home in this particular city, and you hired a new employee, here's the new van, so-and-so had their 3rd anniversary, this is my favorite Starbucks that I go to in the morning, and it's at this corner, and then I took a picture and a video. You're showing evidence of what you're doing. And what Danny is doing and his team is taking that evidence of you guys doing good work, meaning like there's clear evidence, you have good reviews, 4.8 stars, 200 reviews, whatever, and then making it be seen across all the different places that it can be seen. Blogs and YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and ads and all these other places, right? So let me show you what that looks like. So Google said, this is the last technical thing I would promise, okay? So there's something called the knowledge graph, okay? And Google released it. Well, it was around before then, but they said that's the API. Sorry, let me go back one step. 2012, okay? This article. Now, you can read this and later verify if you don't believe me, but what Google's saying is, imagine there's this big database and all of us are connected in some way. And it's connecting all the objects. So Danny's an object. Contractor clicks an object. This Zoom webinar, which has some kind of ID associated with this video, is an object. And, you having dinner at a restaurant, that's an object. All these things are object, and all these objects are tied together. And the more you click on someone's tweet, for example, the more it's showing the connection between you and that other object. It could be a photo, it could be a friend. A lot of people think the objects are people. People are just one type of object. A company, your company's an object, right? Do you see what I'm saying? All these objects are tied together. And maybe Maddie's, her eyes are closed because it's so boring. But just go with me for a second, okay? If we understand that all these objects are tied together, what we're trying to do is increase the signal strength to be corroborated across all the other objects that we want to be associated with, okay? So just like, don't lose me here, the search engine engineer, just stay with me. I promise you this is worth it. So I use the Knowledge Graph Explorer and I look for Tanner Mullen. Tanner, you're still there, right? And he's got an ID. See this ID? It's G, which is for Google, 11J2NSSV7T. That's Tanner, your social security number, if you will, okay? And when I click on that, you see there's the KGM ID, the Knowledge Graph ID. That shows Tanner Mullen. Tanner Mullen has a Facebook, a Twitter, a LinkedIn, and Instagram, and all these objects are being tied together. Remember, there's this big molecule of all these different atoms, right? And we're trying to associate information about Tanner Mullen. What do I know? I'm Google. What do I know about Tanner Mullen? Well, he founded Drip Jobs, and there's his Facebook, and there's a Twitter, and there's some of these other things, right? But then there's the obituary. You haven't died yet, have you, Tanner? He's not died yet. But Tanner, why? Why does Google, or Danny, why do you think Google is associating this Knowledge Graph ID with this Tanner Mullen? Why? Does it matter? Why is this important?
Yeah, it's trying to match it to the most relevant source. And right now, we happen to have a similar last name. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I do a search for Danny Barrera, I see, the number one search for Danny Barrera, this guy is a soccer player, right? See this guy? Danny Barrera, right? This and that. And then people want to know Danny Barrera's salary. They want to know the salary of that Danny Barrera. Maybe he makes more money than you. I don't know.
I'll let Maddie post it.
Professional soccer player, midfielder, born in 1990, 34. So he's starting to get older, and he's got an Instagram and a Twitter as far as Google knows. And here's some other information about this Danny Barrera. And there's 20 searches per month. I'm using Ahrefs. There's lots of different tools. I use them. There's lots of different tools. I won't argue about which tools are better in which situation. Okay, that's not what this is about. But associated with Danny Barrera, remember, for any object, there's attributes. Like if you're a soccer player, then what are the games? And are you in movies? And are there like other people on the same team? You understand like all these things are related, right? The soccer player is tied to the soccer team, which is tied to the stadiums, which is tied to the fans and tied to the matches and tied to all these things that are connected together, right? So what we're trying to do, and I'll show you how AI ties into this in just a moment, is make sure Google understand who we are. So Danny Barrera, Dennis Yu. What does Google know? Well, we did some training together for the Small Business Development Center, which is funded by the government, and how to fix your website. And this got shared on Twitter. This got shared on Facebook by someone other than me, whoever Excellent Digital is. I don't know who they are. This Toronto SEO, they shared it too. And this person on Facebook. And whoever this person, I don't know who this is. But this person, Danny, decided that the content was good enough that he or she, he decided he would share, okay? All these people are sharing this. And then what are things related to this? Well, maybe we've hung out, Josh Nelson. Then Danny Barrera gave a quote in an article about a competitor who imploded. And, there's that. And then here's other things, Contractor Click, right? Free ebook. So what is going on here? Google is trying to figure out, okay, of all the things that are Danny Barrera, which one's tied to this Danny Barrera, not the soccer player Danny Barrera, right? And then what are the objects associated with Danny Barrera? There's this company, there's the clients, maybe the clients use drip jobs. There's all these different things, different events. We can look at all these molecules, Josh Nelson, seven-figure agency, Danny, other, like, you understand, like, what we're trying to do is prove to Judge Google that we are associated with the people and the events and the experience and the things that we do, right? That's how I think about SEO and social and digital. This is not an SEO trick the Google kind of game, okay? This is much deeper than this, and you'll see why in just a second. Because Danny Barrera when I do a search for Danny Barrera, I see, oh no, this is Tanner, but I got the same thing. There's 12 results for Tanner, okay? Look, all these ones, and they all have a different ID. And some of them are mixed together. So Google is not really sure. In fact, some of them, they think that Tanner Mullen is the company Drip Jobs. That's a mistake. But because the about, and Tanner's about is on the Drip Jobs page, like all of these things are mixed together. So we're really just confusing Google. This is our fault, right? And then when I look here, I see all these other things that are not related to Tanner, right? Because maybe he has a podcast, maybe he's on someone else's podcast. So Google has to disambiguate between all these objects to determine which actually are related and whose podcast is it. Like, let's actually, have a little sympathy for Google. This is a very difficult job. This is the job that we had a long time ago at Yahoo. And then the people who I trained went to Google and made a lot of money when they IPO'd, all that kind of stuff, okay? So if this is the case, and we know that this is the underlying knowledge graph of all the objects that have to be tied together, then what is our approach to being able to take all those raw signals and push them through to our website and our social media and our email and marketing and billboards, and how do we make sure Google sees it? How do you use ads in a way that improves SEO? I was with the head of search quality at Google, and I'm not going to say his name because he might get fired. And he said, yeah, when you do things in the way I'm about to show you, this dollar a day, which Danny knows about, I have nothing to sell. I'm just giving away everything because I love Danny, and you're going to read all the good things I share. You're going to associate with Danny, not me, because you came to Danny's thing. I know this is how it works. Okay. You're going to associate with whoever the host is. That's what I'm trying to do. This will help your SEO. Everything algorithmically to show up in your Instagram or YouTube is the same thing, right? They're all driven by the same algorithm. It's basically a lookalike filter. Okay. So Danny ranks on these things because Google can see that he's spending time with companies that do this thing. So of course you deserve to rank, not because he's using H tags and meta tags and, sitemaps in a certain way. It's not some kind of technical trickery. It's the evidence that you do the thing that you do. Now, I'm going to my Google Photos, which automatically uploads from my phone. And you can see 2 days ago, Danny and we were in Rome. We went to the Vatican, and we didn't get to meet the Pope because he's ill. You have to pay, if you pay $30,000, you can meet the Pope and take a picture with him. Think, is that worth it? You wouldn't do that, would you? I don't know, maybe.
Oh, that's interesting.
Why not? Take the picture of the Pope. Okay.
I didn't know that.
here we are at the Vatican. Okay, this is this is the Vatican Museum. We're inside St. Peter's Cathedral, which is, someone told me it's like 34 football fields. It's so big. It's ridiculously big. Okay, here on the outside, here's the Colosseum where all the gladiators fought. Here's some other temple, right? So there's clear proof. Danny, pick one of these things and I'll just prove it to you.
I like that guy standing, just looking at the go
This
down.
one?
Yeah, that one's good.
This one? This one? Which one?
That,
This one?
no, one up, one up.
This one.
That one right there. Yes.
So we are in Hadrian's Castle, looking back at St. Peter's Cathedral, and I know it's kind of hard to see, but you see that at the very top, there's this little ball, this gold dome.
Mm-hmm.
This gold ball, I think it's like 30 feet across. It's just ridiculously huge. Like you'd think it'd be like a little, like, I don't know, basketball sized thing. It's gigantic. Now look, this is in Rome, taken on June 4th on an Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max. And it's exactly here. And it's tagged Danny Liebrandt, another Danny. And it's showing all the things with me and Danny Liebrandt. Now, he spoke on stage. Where was this? In San Diego a month ago, right? And all this information is here. Now, Danny Barrera, let me ask you, or anyone who wants to chime in, if Danny Liebrandt wanted to show that he was an expert in pest control, and here he is with Thomas, who is the #1 guy in the world of SEO in pest control. He runs marketing for Bulwark, built the site in 2006. He is not an SEO person per se, but he's the one that all the other pest control companies, they want to have marketing like this guy. And there's a podcast, and there's other kinds of content that get repurposed. Like you see, Danny Barrera and I have all this information together, videos. The video gets repurposed into Twitter and Facebook and articles and all that kind of stuff. And we show, Danny Liebrandt shows he's associated with Thomas Ballantyne and all this. Then how do we rank on pest control SEO? Or whatever it is we want to rank on? Like, why is associating with this guy important? And how does that actually practically flow through in terms of what we need to do to rank on, termites, Portland, Oregon, or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah.
Bed bugs, New York City, right? How does that play into this?
Well, you have association, that's #1. Like you have, if there's an authority figure that's already recognized by Google, now you're planting yourself as an authority figure. There's that association. The other thing is for our clients, for example, it's location-based or objects-based in the tools that they use and the location specifically. Even just showing a corner sign, Google's able to look at and pinpoint exactly where they're located. And this is why we're so against using stock photos. And it's
or
like
even AI generated photos.
Just to be frank. That in itself.
100% with you on that, right? Because what you want to do is have the real, raw information. And what we like to teach is, let's see if I can find this here. I'm going to go to my Finder. Oh, shoot, this thing is trying to make me see if I can find it in here. This document, Content Factory, see if I can find it. This 4-stage Content Factory, okay? So here, oops. Oh, I gotta zoom. This Zoom thing puts stuff in the way. I have to get this out of the way. Okay. So you see here these 4 stages. So all of you guys, so that Danny's agency can do all the things that they need to do, should be capturing all the contractors, technicians should be gathering proof that you do what you do. Put it in a Google Drive or whatnot. I love using Google Photos because I kind of like using Google for Google. People call that Google stacking. It's okay. You have all this raw information showing that you do what you do, and you don't have to have a fancy podcast. You don't need a $6,000 camera. You don't need any of this. You just need a phone, ideally an iPhone. For some reason, iPhones seem to do better, like pictures on social media. Who knows why, right? And then it can be processed and posted to live in many different ways. That's what people don't understand. You can reuse a piece of content so many different ways. And then when you do that, that creates a corroborating loop of evidence that Danny Barrera actually runs Contractor Click, because it shows up on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube and Snapchat and TikTok and Amazon Books and your blogs and your GMB, all these different places, right? So if I go to Facebook and you look at my profile, for example, Like, there's me on CNN. I'm arguing with Mark Zuckerberg in front of millions of people about Facebook's data privacy. I kicked his ass. So Facebook associates me with these topics. And here, Danny Barrera has tagged me and Chris and Joe, right? And here we're talking about this. Now, if I comment on that, see, because Google's always assuming you're guilty until proven innocent. So if I just wanted to associate with all these other people and I tag them, but Google didn't see a reciprocal signal, then that looks like, oh, maybe I'm trying to fool Google. But if there's a reciprocal signal and you guys are all engaging on this, do you think Google and Facebook and these other guys who manage this algorithm can see this, right? So we're not just cranking out like 5 AI articles a week, this kind of nonsense. We're trying to show that we actually do the thing that we say that we do. Remember Google EEAT? They added the E for experience because they knew the AI generated flood of garbage was coming. Yeah? Okay. So you can see, like here, a day ago, yesterday, we were at the Trevi Fountains and all of these amazing places. There's this one bath that costs $2 billion because of the nature of the market. If you were an emperor, you could do all kinds of things. The popes had the most amazing apartments, right? All these things that we saw here, right? And I'm generating signals, corroborating signals because I'm associated with Damon Burton and Chris Voss and these other people, right? And then Danny tags me again, but then I can take this and repurpose it, meaning I can take the raw content, process it if necessary, so that it can live on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and all that. Now, people say, yeah, but LinkedIn's different. It has to be all businessy and professional and getting jobs. And that's different than Snapchat and TikTok. No, it's not. You could format it slightly differently. You can make it shorter 15-second vertical videos to be on TikTok. You can make it, you don't have to make new content unless you are a creator. You do it for YouTube or whatever, right? So we're producing content once, raw, real. Then Contractor Click can edit it, post it, run ads against it, last stage here. That's what people don't understand. Now, AI tools allow this to happen faster. AI tools will chop up the video. AI tools will caption it. AI tools will post it to 5 places at the same time. AI tools will do all the things except for generate the content. People think, well, LLMs, hey, ChatGPT, you'll say, we'll go to ChatGPT, okay? 4.0, and say, write me an article about, why is this? Come on now, this is freaking internet, hotel internet. So I'm in a live with Danny Barrera, the concrete coding guy, because I need to make sure, because the AI doesn't write, concrete coding marketing agency. And we are talking about using AI to impact SEO and social. I'm explaining EEAT and PAA to audit some of the sites, because I'm going to ask you guys, give me a site or two and I'll show you, or I'll destroy someone else's site if you don't like to be volunteered on, to audit. Please explain. Yeah, I can see that Louise is smiling. Please explain this in simple terms, okay? And I think it knows who I am, but sometimes you just have to say, I'm Dennis Yu, okay? And it'll give you an answer. It'll help you think. You use the AI to think about stuff, not to generate. You use the AI to suggest ideas, to do lightweight editing, like what an VA would do. And it's coming in here, right? And saying all these things. But I'm not using it to generate the content. That's lazy. That's what Google said. If you look at what they said recently in the last couple of weeks, that's why people are being penalized. Okay? So I'd love to show a live example of how to do that. Can someone put any website into the chat? Tanner's made the last 5 or 6 comments. Okay. Drip Jobs. Okay, go to Drip Jobs. You've been warned. Now, we look at Drip Jobs. Drip Jobs has a pretty high domain rating, meaning there's a lot of trust coming from a lot of these links. Now, we typically see this with SaaS or with agencies where there's not a lot of keywords. There's a lot of juice, which people say, yeah, Google doesn't use this. That's true, they don't. But it does give a sense of votes, okay? Everything is a vote. A review, right? A 5-star review on Google, that's a vote. Someone clicking like on Facebook, that's a vote. Someone watching YouTube, that's a vote. Everything is a vote. These votes all have different amounts of power, different weighting, yeah? So, of course, Tanner, you rank on drip jobs and people can't seem to figure out the logins. So there's 60 people a month that can't seem to figure that out, right? CRM, drip, 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 drip. So what is this telling us? It means that Tanner's brand among painting companies and concrete coating is so strong that they're typing in drip. But there's also stuff that is not quite as that we call non-brand terms, okay? So if we look at the top pages, it's going to be the home page. See? The home page gets all the traffic. See the blue line? And then these other ones, startup program, production rates, partners, all this. So there's only 9 pages on drip jobs. So Tanner can't rank on how do painting contractors make more money? Or what's the best CRM? What are the aspects of a CRM? Oh, drip jobs versus, House Call Pro, or whatever it is, right? Service Titan, which is, bigger companies. All of these things. Because that information's not there, because those associations from Tanner's, I had it open just a second ago. You saw it when I had it open before I closed it. Because those associations aren't there, even with the podcast and whatnot, then Google can't tie those items together, right? The good news is that Tanner has a knowledge panel, which is already a big first step. And all of you guys need to get knowledge panels. Oh, but you got to be a celebrity to have a knowledge panel. No, you don't. Look, see this? Dennis Yu, 49. I turned 50 in a few months and I'm doing a full Ironman. Good luck, right? So you can see all of these things about me and all this, best-selling author. People also look for Neil Patel and these other people, and there's all these videos because there are thousands and thousands of what are called citations, which are things that get added to this object. So think of like your company, that's like a skeleton, and we're trying to add meat to that. So everything we can associate with you, any piece of content, any picture, any review, every time you say thank you, those are all votes, right? Citations are like a bigger kind of vote, if you will. So we're trying to increase the citation strength. So we can see that this first Tanner, there's 12 of them, has got a confidence of 135, which is not bad. Well, what does this number mean? And how many objects are there? Anyway, it needs to be higher, okay? I won't go into the math of like why it needs to be higher depending on like who you're trying to compete against, But there's so much that we can say about drip jobs. So look, even though there's only 9 pages that are really being seen, look, 133 episodes. Oh, I know. That's why, because it's on Spotify. You need to have an article on your actual site. And Google doesn't understand that these things, this contractor secrets, because I know drip jobs is a big deal. When I first saw this like a year ago, I'm like, oh, drip jobs. How come I don't see more about Tanner? Oh, because he's like humble about it, But there's Tanner, you know what you could do? And this is for all you guys. You don't have to be like a big time podcaster, okay? You literally, when you do a podcast, you are interviewing somebody else, right? Usually, unless you're just like vanity and you just talk yourself. But usually you're interviewing someone else. That way you have more things to talk about, right? Because you run out of things to talk about. It's just you. But this guy, Pete Moore, if you do a good job, I should be able to rank. Is it MOHR? I don't remember. I should be able to rank on this guy, right? Where is my podcast? You should be able to dominate on this. You don't. It's so easy. And Danny Barrera knows this. I rank on anyone's name. It's very easy, okay? Because my site has a lot of power, easy for me to dominate. I can even abuse people. I gotta be careful. But let's see. Okay, let's see. Caleb Howell, right? So anyone you interview, you should be able to rank on their name unless they have the name of a celebrity. Is this the Caleb Howell you interviewed? This guy's got a knowledge panel. King Arthur, author from the south coast of England. I don't think that has to do with drip jobs, so maybe not, right? But all these people, you know how you rank on this? Matt Iklodi, owner of Pro Plus Painters. Okay, Matt IKLO. I represent California in the National Spelling Bee 1988 in Washington, D.C. Look it up. Okay, so here's this guy. So what Google thinks about this guy is 0 searches per month. His main thing is the Instagram, and then there's some of these videos, Instagram, YouTube, right? Google does not want to show Facebook, Instagram kind of stuff because, Toyota doesn't want to show Honda. But there's these different objects that are here, so we just have to associate them together. And I think my memory is running out on this one here. But what you do is you take the podcast and you repurpose it. Meaning you take the podcast, don't just put it on Spotify, and you put it, you share it on Instagram, you share it on YouTube. You don't just like re-upload the thing or you just put the YouTube link on your Facebook. You have to re-upload it, okay? So what I'll do is I'll take a video like here, join my, oh yeah, he even shared this one. Yeah, 3 days ago, we were at the Vatican. We're about to go in at 7:30 in the morning. I had a coffee, so I'm awake. And you can see that, I'm talking about this, and then I'm taking the video and I'm having to upload it again to LinkedIn. Why, Danny Barrera, why am I uploading it again to LinkedIn and uploading it again to Twitter? Why don't I just take this Facebook post and share this Facebook link on Twitter or whatever?
Well,
Why
the
would I?
associations from different entities it's very powerful. It's like reaffirming, and this is the thing that I like about the process that you've laid out is you take one piece of content and you repurpose it in different ways to gain different signals, because every channel is very different. Every channel is going to spit out different signals, and the more consistent you are in those signals, that's where the power is.
And when you repurpose it and you re-upload it again to LinkedIn or whatever it is, that creates a new object ID, another opportunity to accumulate more signals on more objects that corroborate who you are. Now, Facebook is going to have access to the analytics, just like Google. Each of these platforms has their own analytics to determine what works. Here's a magic rule that I've learned. I call it the 10% rule. If you can get 10% of the people to like, share, comment, watch the video all the way through, that's a really good signal. And it doesn't matter. Like we've done it for professional sports teams or for Starbucks or Adidas. Like it doesn't matter what it is. Concrete coating, shiny garage floors. Just for some reason, this 10% rule works. Let me show you. And then once you understand this, let's talk about how we can use AI to try to improve upon this. Okay. Now, what I'm looking for is 10% of the people who saw it. So 2,500 people saw this post. I'm looking for 10%. If you suck at math, you cut one digit off, 257, right? So I have 340 people. This is north of 10%. This is a winner, right? So that means I could hit the blue button and boost it for $1 a day for 7 days, spend $7 to test it against the audience I want to reach, or just let the system tell. Or let's see, I'll go a little further. Here's one. I'm eating food with a friend who sold his company for lots of money. He paid. And let's see, did we get 10%? Yes. Oh, normally I don't have 2 wins in a row. I'm looking for a fail. Let's see if I can find a fail. Is this a fail? This is probably a fail. Okay, let's see. Did this fail? The stats come up. I can already tell it fails by the engagement. Let's try this again. But okay. No, it actually did. How did it get more than 10%? Oh, other clicks. Okay, they because it's a photo, they clicked on it to see. That doesn't really count. Here's another one. Oh, this one did really well. See, I'm way over 10%. Let's just go to another channel. Let's go to Twitter, okay? If we look at my ads, because I love to do $1 a day ads. I'm looking for 10%. 10% organic, 10% engagement. That means 1 in 10 people thought this was interesting enough that it's worth, putting their name on it, basically. That's what happens with like a share or whatnot. Like people think it's interesting, okay? They didn't just scroll past it. Now we're looking at what the engagement is on the right side here. And these are just random tweets that I decided I would boost. Look at the engagement, 1%, 4%, 0.5, 2%, 1%, 0, 0.4, 4%, 18%. How am I getting 18%? 10%, 4%, 10%, 14%, 12%, 10%. You see like 10% is kind of like the bar here, right? Let's go a little further. So Danny, how am I getting 15% on Caleb's free course? And I've spent $549 on this, which is probably 549 days ago, right? 20,000 clicks at 3 cents a click. How is this working? Well, I'll cheat and I'll show you. It's elevate.
Are you boosting it? You're boosting it
Yes,
for
I'm
$1 a day, right? You're getting engagement.
Yeah, I'm boosting it, but I'm getting some crazy, 15% of people are clicking on it. Because here's
Probably
the video.
what people want. Yeah.
Well, look. So he's basically teaching my 1-minute video course for financial advisors. Now, this guy is very well known in this space of people who sell life insurance, right? So then he comes in and says, oh, Dennis, you taught me this thing. And so
Hey guys,
he's a
welcome
figurehead.
to the 1 minute video masterclass. And this is very, very special for me because Dennis Yu is one of the people that really helped me out early on and was one of the first people that taught me the whole marketing space. And we would speak on a lot of stages together.
And blah, blah, blah. And then he talks about the dollar a day, which is how you test and try to get the 10%. If it hits 10%, then you put more money on it. Put $10 a day, $1,000 a day. I've spent $1 million a day for Rosetta Stone and some big companies, okay? Because we started with $1 a day, to be clear. And then we put more and more to sell more. So I am not known among life insurance people or financial advisors, but this guy is the keynote speaker at the big conference. Okay. So we targeted all the people who go to the conference. So they know who he is. So then you go to this and everything is at the ad group level, whether it's Facebook, Google, or all the like targeting and whatever's at the ad group level. So if I come here and edit, this is a little technical, but just kind of go with me on this. I'm trying to show you this thing. So we're targeting all the people who are members of NAIFA, the National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors. So if they are a member of NAIFA, Iowa, NAIFA, Washington, NAIFA, Arizona, NAIFA, Oklahoma, NAIFA, whatever, do you think they know who this guy Caleb is? Right? Yes.
Yeah.
So because they see that this guy Caleb, and I'm putting the tweet out here saying, Caleb and I want to show you how to do dollar a day if you're a financial advisor. Now, he's a very successful financial advisor. All the other financial advisors, they're like 60 years old and they don't know social media. Then they learn from this guy who's really succeeding and selling lots of life insurance. Like selling life insurance, well, that's a hard thing to sell, right? But he's very successful and they want to be like him because they see him speak. There's a lot of trust. I'm leveraging his trust. And then they come, the 15% of them, as you see, they click on the message and they watch the video, and then 33% of them sign up for the free course, right? 16%, 15%, 2 cents a click, 3 cents a click, right? So the relevancy, this is what I want you to see, the relevancy is so high that they naturally, so when you do a podcast, right? And it's with so-and-so, you target that person's audience, even if their audience is like 12 people, it doesn't matter. It still works. Relevancy is high. You get north of 10%. So Danny, is it because I'm a really good copywriter that I'm getting, 20%, 30% on my ads or whatnot?
It's targeted, extremely targeted.
18%, 10%, 10%, 14%, 12%, right? So this is arguably the best guy in the world of GMB, Google My Business, which is called Google Business Profile. So I had him on my podcast and he and I have been friends for over 20 years, right? He's one of the only 3 diamond level Google product experts in this thing. And it gets a 12% engagement rate. And I'm not even selling anything. I'm saying, hey, Ben, man, it's so awesome. Tell me, like, what do you think the latest things are? Like, why are people getting banned? What about all the spam on LSA? What about, what about this? What about that? Right? Asking him all these questions. And I'm targeting all the people that are experts in Google Business Profile. I'm targeting Darren Shaw and the LSA people at Google in charge of local. And this shows that I'm a credible source because I'm interviewing these other people. So what I'm doing is leveraging Google EEAT and this thing that I'm showing you to show that I belong with these other people, right? We were in the city of David yesterday. You can see I did some searches. We did the Hezekiah Tunnel, all this underground stuff. We're about to go eat. I'm looking for some restaurants that we're going to go eat at in a few minutes, right? Oh, there's our next guy, Trueversity, right? So I'm just trying to show by association. So whatever city you're in, whatever you do, can you show evidence here? Here, I even took a picture of Danny's slide. This other Danny, how to show EEAT, show who you say you are, that you do the thing that you do. All right, we have enough time for a quick example. I want to show you this. Joe asks, is 10% goal measuring how many clicks? No, 10% engagement. Because sometimes you want people to watch a video. Sometimes it's a click. Sometimes it's sign up for the form. It's whatever it might be, right? So someone put in a URL, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to use AI to fix this stuff and use AI the right way, not to get yourself banned like millions of sites. Put into the chat. I'll show you. So easy. Incredibly easy. I'm a professional.
Someone type it in. Feel free to type in your website. Just put in your website. There.
Or a competitor's website if you want.
Competitor's website. Yeah.
Their stuff. Anybody.
Well, there we go. Trueversity.com.
There's Joe. Okay. So Trueversity. All right. Reach your true potential. Been in AI for 30 years, all this. He doesn't have a lot of links coming in, but that's okay. He ranks in a few keywords largely related to Trueversity. Now let's see why he's not ranking on these things. Now you see this picture? This is you, Joe, yeah? You're talking? If I search Google, remember, Danny, you said no fake, no stock,
Stock photo.
right?
Yeah.
I agree with that too. So let's find the image source on this one. And I'll explain why in a second, why this is so important. Okay, I'm going to assume that this is his. But I wrote stock art. Dennis, I wrote a whole article on the #1 influencing site on why you should never use stock art. Look at DR76.
Yeah.
And I wrote a whole article with a picture of mannequins because you want to show Google you actually do the thing that you say that you do. Because most sites we look at pictures or whatnot, they're showing stuff that's just like, they have that skinny black girl with the frizzy hair. She's in the Verizon commercial. She's also like in the mortgage of the family that just got their new house and they're celebrating. She's also in the conference rooms looking at the chart that goes up. Just come on, don't do that. Okay. So you have these clients and partnerships and all that. But what I want to see, Joe, what do you want to rank on? Just put in a keyword. Put the thing you want to rank on, because you don't rank a lot of keywords, but give us a target so we can, show you how to do that real quick in 3 minutes. Because you rank on Trueversity, Teach Me AI. You want to rank better on that? AI consulting for small business, you moved up 8 positions in the last 12 days. What do you want? ChatGPT Plus refund? Okay, you want to target those people. Fine. What do you want, right? Well, let's just, for sake of whatever, let's say you want to talk about BDR sales, okay? There's 3 strategies to boost your engagement for people that are trying to set up appointments, I assume, these business development representatives. They're all trying to get appointments, aren't they? Right? This is actually a landing page, but let's just copy this, okay? Copy, paste, ChatGPT, and I come here and I say, oops, my Zoom window's in the way. This Zoom window's always in the way where you're trying to type. My friend Joe sells small biz consulting, AI consulting. This is his landing page for helping BDRs, too many TLAs, 3-letter acronyms, get more appointments. Please be harsh on how to, see, he's still smiling, how to improve via, remember we talked about EEAT and PAA. List the PAA. People also ask when you do a search, right? I'll show you that in a second. We have 1 minute left, 2 minutes in particular, and grade 1 to 10. Okay. Paste. Okay. Now, meanwhile, what's the thing? Get, how to help my BDRs get more appointments. Okay. Via AI. That's a long search. Did you know 50% of searches have never been searched before? Ever? They're brand new. Didn't know that, no? Okay, so here's all these ads, of course, right? And then people also ask, how to book more meetings with BDR? Will AI replace BDRs? How to increase sales? Can AI replace back-end developers? How close is AI to doing this? Is AI, what will AI not replace? So you see these other questions, these are related questions. You have to answer the related questions if you want to rank on the main question. So the AI tells us you don't have enough information. You just don't have enough. 4 out of 10, 6 out of 10, authoritative. You're not including expertise, authority, and trust. So Joe, you need to have more of this. And, oh, you have a liquid air message? That's not good. Okay. Build trust. Sure, you do have some client logos, but there's more things and you can answer more of these questions, right? So last question, what are some PAA he can answer? Via 1-minute videos that he boosts to get people to the page using my techniques. And so it's going to say, anyway, this is not being done the right way, but you get the idea, okay?
Yes.
All right. So use this 4-stage content factory get the raw content together. Then the AI can do all this processing and posting and editing and, taking your very best pages and making them even better. So maybe Drip Jobs, the startup program, maybe, whatever your best pages are, make them better. It's easier to throw fuel on the fire when things are doing well. That's what I want you to understand about AI. It's neither good nor bad. It's a multiplier what you have. So Joe can multiply, Danny Barrera can multiply, all you guys can multiply what you have. Are you collecting more evidence that you do the thing that you say that you do? So every single one of these pages, you can enhance with more information. You don't have to create skyscraper content or these other sorts of techniques, but there's so much more all of us can do. And it's so easy by showing that we do the thing that we say that we do. Probably the easiest one is repurpose podcasts, right? Put them in more formats and have the AI be a smart video editor. And then run $1 a day, boost it. The last point I'll make, boost it so more people can see it because Google can see the engagement on this.
Yes.
Yeah. And now you're winning. That's how you win at SEO, by showing such great engagement off of this that Google sees, wow, this must be legit. There's 500 people a month that are looking for me. A lot of that's because hanging on podcasts like this, and then people look me up, right? Great content's so good, people look you up. But if you spend $1 a day to make sure people are seeing it, that's how you're winning at SEO.
Super powerful, right? Extremely powerful. I just want to recap a couple of key points here. Real authentic images on your homepage of yourself, the business owner, having an about description of the business owner or who we are, that in itself. So I see, Carlisa, thank you for sharing that website, Encore Garage San Antonio. You open the website up, that main hero image, it's almost like a stock photo, and it doesn't have any relevance. So what we're looking to do is associate you with a location, plus the individuals running it. Now, another thing you shared before, it's like, why are we sharing the content everywhere else? Well, if you're the owner of Encore Garage San Antonio, you got to have a LinkedIn profile that also says that you're the owner and has your photo that looks pretty much similar to what you have on the website. That in itself, a small signal, makes an incredible impact. This is why we're so against using other people's photos, or when clients get upset, hey, we don't have any pictures. We're like, no, we want to use your images because it's so important for your location. And oftentimes there might not be the best quality pictures, but they're very relevant for ranking higher on Google, and sharing those images to the Google listing, plus on the website, plus everywhere else, which is what you just talked about. Super powerful. Dennis, before you head out here, and by the way, team, if you have any questions for Dennis, just type it into the chat. Thank you for giving us your time here. Question I have for you is, what do you see contractors, home improvement contractors, struggle with the most currently when it comes to their marketing and AI content repurposing? What do you wish they could do a little bit more consistently?
I wish they would understand that even if you have a great agency like Danny's agency, you still have to own the content creation. Because content creation is not you becoming a YouTuber, going live all the time. It is documenting, collecting the journey of your crews. Maybe you have like 2 crews and they're doing, whatever they're working on. Take pictures of the floors, honor the customers. Say, hey guys, we're about to drive to the other side of town and we're going to do the cobalt floor or whatever it is, Just these little stories. It doesn't have to be this long sort of thing. I want you guys to understand. And it's not a technical, I need to hire Dennis because it is not a technical issue. It isn't. You're just not sharing, you're not connecting things the right way, right?
Beautiful.
I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. This demystified. Take 2 minutes to audit anybody.
We got a couple of minutes here. Feel free. I mean, if you want to pull up the San Antonio Encore Garage San Antonio, I think some of our audience members here, they
pulled it up.
Buildings. Go ahead.
It looks good. I mean, you say garage is as unique as you do. Well, if you're using stock photos, that's not very unique. No, but I can see here using the reverse image search that it is her thing, and that's fine. Now,
so question for you, Dennis. Yeah. While you're at it, how much does it hurt when you have websites using the same picture and they take it and they use it? How much does it hurt the ranking ability?
It hurts a little bit. The thing is, there's many factors at the same time. So here's something very easy for you to do. So here we rank on 84 keywords. So of course, garage, flooring San Antonio, you can rank on San Diego randomly. And Chicago. Really? You guys are in multiple places? All right. So here's what I see is missing. Let's go. I think I'll be validated by the pages here. I've never been to the site before. Let's see if this is what I think is true. Yeah, it's true. Okay, cool. So notice here, you've got product and services, some design, some other pieces, but what do you see as most obviously missing? Oh no, you do have oh. Okay, so we have locations, but you don't have any location pages. So within San Antonio, there's a lot of neighborhoods. You know, maybe I take New Braunfels Garage Coating Company, you know, garage floor, you know, Alamo Heights, concrete coatings. You got to create location pages. So you go to, you know, encoregaragesanantonio.com/location. And this is where you're going to start to put in real pictures and images. So just to prove it to you, like Danny, name any city in the world.
Miami, Florida.
Okay. Miami. So I've been in Miami many times. And so the photos contain the geo IP information. So I flew first class in Miami to Suriname on Suriname Airways. They gave me orange juice when you take off, right? And there's proof that here I was in Miami. You see here? Now, do you know why the US military is not allowed to post pictures and videos on social media?
They don't want to be found out. Locations.
Because this geo-encoded information is included automatically in the photos. So I believe, and no one can prove it for sure, but I believe that Google has taken into account these images. And if I look further to Miami, I'm going to see a picture of you and me, Danny, here, right? In Miami, right? There's a squirrel. There's literally this Manny the squirrel who drives a little boat, right? Water skiing squirrel, right? And this was in Miami.
Well, next you want to have one foot on each.
So if I'm doing concrete coating in Miami or Fort Lauderdale or whatever, and Boynton Beach, and I show that I'm actually doing the thing that I say that I do, and it takes a little bit of effort to organize my photos and all that,
Right.
but this is already included, right? All the other part, Fort Lauderdale, right? Or Clearwater, or, you know, all these different parts of Florida. Don't you think if I enhance those location pages with information from those places, don't you
Yes.
think Google will take that signal into account?
100%. And this is why we recommend Company Cam. Company Cam lets you store projects by locations, and also within those locations, we can associate it to a city page, which makes it easier, which is what you're talking about. So very powerful signal. Team, if you found this content valuable, type in value into the chat. Let's give Mr. Dennis Yu a big round of virtual applause here. Just help me thank him for his time. Thank you very much for your time, Dennis. We really appreciate you and your time here.
Thank you,
it's
Danny.
very valuable. Yes, sir.
Holler, reach out to me. I'm Googleable if I can help in any way. Love to see you guys grow. Love to see you work with good agencies like Danny's agency.